Get ready for a royal update like no other. We're diving back into the fascinating world of Sheikh Hamdan and his family, bringing you the latest scoop on their lives, loves, and dramas. If you're new here, consider subscribing for exclusive content that'll keep you hooked. And if you missed our last video, don't worry, we'll fill you in on the juicy details. Let's recap. Things got real when Sheikha Thani, Sheikh Hamdan's current wife, found out about his plans to marry Shama al-Falasi. The news sent her into an emotional tailspin, and she spent days crying and struggling to come to terms with the situation. The anxiety and distress were palpable, and it's clear that this is a story that's full of twists and turns. As we explore the complex web of relationships within the royal family, one thing becomes clear: love, power, and tradition are all at play. Sheikh Hamdan's decision to take a second wife has set off a chain reaction, and we're here to guide you through the drama that's unfolding. From palace politics to personal struggles, we're committed to bringing you the inside scoop on this captivating royal family. So, sit back, relax, and get ready for a wild ride. We'll be covering it all: the romance, the drama, and the intrigue that's making headlines around the world. Stay tuned. The stakes were high as Sheikha Thani navigated the treacherous waters of her marriage. Feeling like her world was crumbling around her, she made a bold move. She decided to meet Shama face to face, hoping to find a way out of the chaos or at least some semblance of closure. The private meeting between the two women was nothing short of explosive. In a last-ditch effort to salvage her marriage and preserve her family, Sheikha Thani pulled out all the stops. She offered Shama a staggering $15 million to abandon her plans to marry Sheikh Hamdan. But Shama wasn't having it. With a calm and collected demeanor, she turned down the offer without batting an eyelid. It was clear that her motivations for being in the relationship had nothing to do with money and everything to do with love. This pivotal moment marked a turning point in the story. Shama's refusal of the bribe spoke volumes about her character and her commitment to Sheikh Hamdan. She wasn't swayed by the promise of wealth or status; instead, she stood firm in her convictions. As the dust settled, it became clear that Shama's love for Sheikh Hamdan was the real deal, unshakable and unwavering. The question on everyone's mind now is, what's next? Will Sheikha Thani regroup and try a different tactic, or will she accept defeat? One thing's for sure: the drama is far from over, and we're glued to the edge of our seats waiting to see how this saga unfolds. The meeting between Sheikha Thani and Shama ended in a stalemate, leaving both women to grapple with their emotions. Sheikha Thani returned to the palace, her heart heavy with the weight of her failed attempt to sway Shama. Meanwhile, Shama was left to ponder the intricate web of emotions that seemed to entangle the royal family. Unbeknownst to Sheikha Thani, Sheikh Hamdan was blissfully unaware of the drama that had unfolded during his absence. He had escaped to a serene island in the UAE, seeking solace in the tranquility of the surroundings. However, his peaceful getaway was short-lived, as he soon found himself face to face with the harsh realities of his personal life. Upon his return to the palace, Shama briefed him on the events that had transpired. With a calm and collected tone, she recounted every detail of her meeting with Sheikha Thani, including the attempted bribe. Sheikh Hamdan's reaction was swift and intense. Known for his composed demeanor, he was nonetheless furious at the thought of someone trying to buy off the woman he loved. His anger was not just a flash of temper, but a deep-seated response to the perceived disrespect towards Shama. He felt a strong sense of protectiveness towards her, and the attempted bribe had crossed a line. As he processed his emotions, it became clear that Sheikh Hamdan would not let this incident slide. The question was, how would he respond, and what would be the consequences of his action? The air was electric with tension as Sheikh Hamdan summoned Sheikha Thani to his chambers. The confrontation that followed was nothing short of explosive. Sheikh Hamdan's usually calm and collected demeanor gave way to anger, his voice raised in a rare display of emotion. Sheikha Thani, caught off guard, attempted to defend her actions, her words tumbling out in a tearful torrent. She claimed that her motivations were pure, driven by a desire to protect her family, particularly her children, rather than mere jealousy. However, Sheikh Hamdan was unconvinced. His disappointment and disillusionment were palpable, and the trust between them had been irreparably damaged. As the confrontation reached its climax, Sheikha Thani's defenses crumbled, and she was overcome with emotion. The weight of her actions bore down on her, and she retreated to the solitude of her private quarters, shaken and heartbroken. The encounter had left her reeling, and the future of their relationship hung precariously in the balance. The palace, once a symbol of luxury and opulence, had become a battleground, with emotions running high and relationships hanging by a thread. The question on everyone's mind was, what would happen next? Would Sheikh Hamdan and Sheikh Thani be able to repair the damage, or would the rift between them prove too great to bridge? Sheikh Thani's world was unraveling, and her tears flowed like a river, unrelenting and unstoppable. The memory of Sheikh Hamdan's angry face seared itself into her mind, haunting her every thought. For the first time, she faced the harsh reality that her relationship with him might be irreparably damaged. The dreaded word, divorce, echoed in her mind, filling her with a sense of desperation and panic. In a moment of crisis, Sheikh Thani turned to the one person she hoped could intervene, Sheikh Mohammed, Sheikh Hamdan's father. With shaking hands, she picked up the phone and dialed his number, requesting an urgent meeting. Her voice trembled as she spoke to him, conveying the gravity of the situation. As she waited for Sheikh Mohammed's response, Sheikh Thani's anxiety grew. She knew that she was taking a risk by involving him, but she felt like she had no other choice. The fate of her marriage and her future hung precariously in the balance, and she was willing to try anything to salvage it. The question was, would Sheikh Mohammed be able to help her, or would he further complicate the situation? One thing was certain, the dynamics of the royal family were about to shift, and the consequences of Sheikh Thani's actions would be far-reaching. As Sheikh Thani entered the inner chambers, she was met with a sense of calm and serenity. Sheikh Mohammed, with a wise and inquiring gaze, welcomed her and invited her to share her concerns. She poured out her heart, recounting the entire story, from the moment she learned about Sheikh Hamdan's plans to marry Shama, to the emotional turmoil that led her to confront Shama directly. Her words tumbled out in a passionate plea, as she asked Sheikh Mohammed to explain why he had given his blessing for Sheikh Hamdan's second marriage. Sheikh Mohammed listened attentively, his expression thoughtful and introspective. When she finished speaking, he nodded slowly and began to share his perspective. In his authoritative yet gentle voice, Sheikh Mohammed painted a broader picture, one that took into account the complexities of family dynamics, tradition, and the future of their lineage. His words were laced with wisdom and insight, offering a deeper understanding of the circumstances that had led to this point. As Sheikh Thani listened, she began to see the situation in a new light, and the pieces of the puzzle started to fall into place. But would this newfound understanding be enough to heal the wounds and restore balance to the family? Sheikh Mohammed's words painted a vivid picture of the future, one in which Shama's influential and noble family played a crucial role in strengthening the royal lineage. He assured Sheikh Thani that the decision to marry Shama was not taken lightly, but was instead rooted in a long-term vision for the family's legacy and stability. However, instead of calming Sheikh Thani's concerns, Sheikh Mohammed's explanation only seemed to exacerbate her feelings of inadequacy. She felt like she was competing with Shama's impeccable family background, and the thought of being overshadowed was almost too much to bear. Her eyes welled up with fresh tears as she felt small and replaceable, a pang of insecurity that threatened to consume her. Just as Sheikh Thani's emotions seemed to be spiraling out of control, Sheikh Mohammed leaned forward, his expression softening. In a reassuring tone, he spoke words that would change everything. He promised her that he would never allow Sheikh Hamdan to divorce her, a guarantee that seemed to offer a lifeline to a woman who felt like she was drowning in uncertainty. The question now was, how would Sheikh Hamdan react to his father's promise? Would he respect his father's wishes, or would he follow his own path? One thing was certain, the dynamics of the royal family were about to shift in ways that no one could predict. As Sheikh Thani swept into the palace, a palpable change in her demeanor was evident. Her stride was imbued with a quiet strength, and a subtle smile played on her lips. The palace staff couldn't help but notice the transformation, and neither could Sheikh Hamdan. He watched her with a discerning eye, intrigued by her newfound calmness. A flicker of unease danced in his chest as he wondered what had transpired during his absence. What had brought about this sudden shift in her behavior? Though he didn't voice his concerns, he couldn't shake off the feeling that something significant had occurred. His intuition told him that his father, Sheikh Mohammed, had likely played a role in her changed demeanor. The realization stirred a complex mix of emotions within Sheikh Hamdan. Gratitude wrestled with frustration, and a sense of losing control over a personal matter nagged at him. He knew his father's influence was far-reaching, and the fact that Sheikh Mohammed had seemingly intervened in his marital affairs both reassured and irritated him. As he observed Sheikh Thani's composed exterior, Sheikh Hamdan couldn't help but wonder what his father's involvement would mean for the future of their relationship. Would he be able to navigate the delicate balance of his own desires and his father's expectations? The uncertainty hung in the air, a palpable tension that would likely continue to simmer beneath the surface. That's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed this episode and gained some insight into the intricate world of the royal family. If you're hooked on our content, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all the latest drama, romance, and intrigue. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next